back to the channel of Pro Enzo Vids, and this afternoon is my round 21 NRL tips for 2024. So round 21, it's a big round. Definitely as the weeks go on, the more or less, I guess time we do have to embrace the regular season fixture as the finals do approach pretty quickly. But yeah, round 21 looks good in my opinion. A lot of big games that can go either way. And yeah, I am keen for this round. Obviously, games like the whole Super Saturday fixture, let's just put it out there, that the whole Super Saturday fixture looks absolutely mint. So the first game, you've got Broncos and the Bulldogs at Suncorp on a 3 p.m. Saturday arvo. Yeah, Broncos playing on a daytime on a Saturday. It's not very often, but they do play the Bulldogs, who were unlucky to lose to the Cowboys last Sunday. So that should be a good game, that one. Then after that's Cowboys and the Sharks at Townsville. And yeah, that's another big game too for both sides, actually. They want to try and lock in their chances of making the finals this year. And the big one, Manly and the Roosters at Allianz Stadium. So, of course, I'll be there. It's Manly's first ever time playing at the new SFS as well. So, keen to see how the boys do go there. It's a big game for us if we are serious about top 8 this year, and could even be top 4 if we win, but I'm not going to go too far ahead of myself just yet. But do bring on this Saturday, and do bring on the round in general. Should be good. But if you are a new viewer to this channel, please be sure to like this video and do subscribe if you haven't already. Yeah, my road is to 5k subscribers. Now, that's obviously far-fetched at the moment, but definitely do hope new support does come in very soon. So do appreciate it all the last couple of weeks I've been getting. As well as commenting your tips in the comments down below of who you're backing for this round. But without further ado, let's get into my round 21 tips. Okay, so on to the very first game between both the Warriors and the Tigers on the Friday at Go Media Stadium. So last week, the Warriors were quite unlucky to lose to the Raiders in GIO Stadium. Yeah, very close to winning, but I guess that couple of conversion kicks that were missed by Chanel Harris-Tavita were the difference in the end, but you can't purely blame Chanel. And I know it's easy to, because his kicks would have made the difference in the end, but it's a team sport. That's why there's 17 men playing, so I would not single out Chanel, just like how most people have. And for the Tigers, well, I can't really say much more. Like, Tigers are just, they're an absolute rabble at the moment. It's been like that for decades, I suppose, or the last decade. I don't know. Tigers, for me, just don't inspire me and don't inspire many people. But I do think the future's bright, but I don't see much else right now. For the Warriors and their team, so I think the Warriors are mostly 1-17, apart from having Tane Tuapiki, who's out with concussion. So Roger goes to fullback, and Moala Graham Taufa goes into the centres, I believe. With someone, Edward Kosi comes onto the wing for Roger. So that's what's happened there, and that's the only change for the Warriors. For the Tigers, there's a couple of changes, but I won't go through them all. The halves this week are Lachlan Galvin at 5'8", and the halfback is Latu Fainu. So good to see Latu start at halfback. He's a gun, I know that. I do hope he kills it this Friday. He's had a couple of injuries this year, so that's kind of held him back from playing more first-grade games, I think. But he's been playing off the bench as jersey 14 a couple of games, so hopefully at halfback he does well. Because ANC is out, obviously, this week. And I believe as well, Appy Coruscant is back, so Talon De Silva goes to the bench, so Appy's big in for the Tigers. My tip for this game, though, look, surely the Warriors don't lose at home, right, to the Tigers. This game's important for the Warriors, because if they want to win and win well, it definitely helps them in making the 8 still. So I don't know if Warriors are still in contention or not, but they definitely have to win every game pretty much, which is nearly impossible, but you never know. But I'll tip Warriors to win 1-12. First try scorer, give me Dallin at home, and anytime try scorers, I'll go with let's go with T. Murray Martin, and for the Tigers, I'll go with let's go with Sam Fainu. Now on to the main game on the Friday. It's both the Eels and the Storm at CommBank Stadium in Parramatta. So believe it or not, and I'm sure most people would actually know this, but Parramatta have been the Storm's bogey team the last couple of years. Like, there's been a couple of games where the Eels have won in upsets a couple of times against the Storm. And Storm obviously are in better form right now, and they probably should win this game 13+ if we're being fair dinkum. But Parramatta do tend to turn up against Melbourne for whatever reason. So Yeah, we'll see if they do, but I do believe Melbourne will win still. But before I get into my main tip, what's the teams for both sides? So for the Eels, because Mitchell Moses is out for the rest of the year with a bicep injury, that means Dejan Arce starts at halfback alongside Dylan Brown in the halves. Jake Tago is still on the wing. And yeah, Parramatta have made some changes to the back row too. I think Sean Lane and Bryce Cartwright start this week. And yeah, that's the Parramatta team, I think, most of it anyway. Only changes. And for the Storm, I think, have no real changes that I believe that have happened. Munster is in the reserves though, so whether he does play or not, I don't think he will personally, but he's in the reserves, which indicates that he's definitely nearing a return. So yeah, that's good for Melbourne, I reckon. But yeah, my tip for this game, yeah, Melbourne to win. Melbourne 13 plus. They should win well at CommBank. First try scorer, Will Warbrick, and any time for both sides. I'll go with Sean Lane in the back row. I think Lane's due for a try. And for the, excuse the cut there, but yeah, my anytime try scorer for the Storm, Grant Anderson. Right, moving on to Super Saturday football. It's the first game of three. It's the Broncos versus the Bulldogs at Suncorp Stadium. And yeah, 3 p.m. Saturday for the Broncos at Suncorp. It's very rare you see that. But yeah, I guess the Broncos will be playing on a 3 p.m. Saturday at Suncorp. So yeah, we'll see how that all goes, I guess. Because I know the Broncos' daytime record isn't great. So we'll see if it does change this Saturday or not. But yeah, this one will be a good game, actually. The Bulldogs obviously are well inside the 8. But if they lose this week, they definitely can drop quite a fair bit depending on other results. And for the Broncos, well, it just shows how important your main players are. And I guess Adam Reynolds' return for them last Saturday against the Knights was, yeah, that was proven that how important he actually is to that Broncos team. So whether Broncos do go on a run now because he's back, I don't know. But either way, it's proven that he's a big in for that team. So yeah, I'm expecting another big game by Reno this weekend. So the only changes for the Broncos this week are that Solon Cobo's back, which is a big in for the Broncos, and Corey Oates drops to 18th man. And for the Bulldogs, I believe Leapoi Hopoi is on the bench, and Chris Patolo drops out. Okay, my tip for this game. So I've had a bit of trouble thinking about this one actually because I do reckon it can go either way. But I'm seeing a Broncos win. I really am. I think Broncos will be too good. I think now because all their main players are back and there's no origin distractions and whatever. And as long as injuries are kind to them, I think Broncos can definitely push for the 8, but we'll see. But I do think they'll win this one pretty well, actually, on Saturday. So I'll go Broncos to win 1-12, but they'll definitely blow the score out in the end, I reckon. Bulldogs will win the fight as always, but Broncos to win. I'll go first try scorer Selwyn Cobbo in his return, and anytime try scorers I'll go with Ezra Mam, and for the for the Bulldogs I'll go with Connor Tracy at fullback. Why not? Okay, now on to the second game of Super Saturday. It's a big one. It's one that definitely has a lot at stake for both sides. It's the Cowboys versus the Sharks at Queensland Country Bank Stadium. So, yeah, last week the Cowboys had a very narrow win over the Bulldogs in Townsville, winning 20-18. It was a very gritty win. Wasn't going to be easy, but they got the job done, and good on them. That definitely helps their chances of making the 8 furthermore. And for the Sharks, well, Cronulla, as of recent, have been quite inconsistent. The week before they beat the Tigers, but that's Tigers only by 50. And they had the bye last week, so you can argue that the Sharks have been a bit spoon-fed in the draw, if that makes sense. But I guess you can only play with what's in front of you. But yeah, I do see a lot of people saying the Sharks have had an easy draw, and I do tend to agree in some parts. But again, you can only play what's in front of you. But it's a big test for the Sharks because they are playing away from Shark Park, and they do go to Townsville, where the Cowboys have won last week, and they definitely want to try and keep that winning streak at Townsville going. So it should be a good game. So the changes for the Cowboys, the only changes are that Murray Talangi isn't in the reserves, so he could be a late inclusion, but he's for now in the reserves. Val Holmes to the wing, and Jackson Purdue goes into the centres. For the Sharks, Liam Eisen, who is a young fullback who came from the Panthers a couple of years ago, has now been in the Sharks system for a fair while and does come in for Will Kennedy, who is suspended. So good luck to Liam Eisen. I'll definitely make a debut review of him after Manly Roosters game probably, or the next day on the Sunday. But keen to see how he goes. But that's the only changes really for the Sharks. Okay, now it's a tough one, but my tip for this game though, I'll tip Sharks. I think Cowboys could definitely win, and I wouldn't be shocked if they did. But I'm tipping Sharks because you know I'm sure they'll want to win to maintain their spot in the top four. Um, and I know that them playing away from Shark Park is going to be a little bit tough going up to Townsville, but I think Sharks have enough talent to go and win there. It's a big game for them. They need a win in order to really cement themselves in the top eight. I think if they win, they're just about locked in. But if they lose, well, they're still sort of in the balance with a lot of other teams for the top eight. But I do think Sharks win though. Cowboys will come close, but so I'll tip Sharks to win 1-12. First try scorer. I think Cowboys might score first through Jackson Purdue and anytime try scorers. For the Cowboys, I'll go with Kyle Felt. You just got to back him. And for the Sharks, I'll go with Sione Katoa. If you tell me that this game is game of the round, I wouldn't blame you because this is a huge game, not only for both teams' top eight chances, but for the chance of being in the top four by the end of the week. It's Roosters versus Manly at Allianz Stadium, 7:35 p.m. kickoff. Should be a good night at Allianz. As I said before, Manly's first ever time playing there, so I am keen to watch them play there. Like I've been to Roosters South games there. I've been to Roosters Warriors game, like a game there last year. Roosters Eels. So I've always watched Roosters Cowboys this year. So I've always watched, other games there other than Manly play there. So it's exciting for me to actually go there and watch us play. So it should be good. But yeah, it's a big game because Roosters obviously have been hit hard in the press this week. Like I've seen Roosters have been a team where they've been talked as a team that can't beat top eight teams. Like the only top eight team they've beaten is the Bulldogs, apparently, according to this stat. But that's only going to fire them up, isn't it? So I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, as I said earlier in the video. But yeah, look, I do think it'll be a good game, and I do hope the boys come away with a win. So both changes for both teams. The Roosters have none. I think Roosters are 1 through 17. So Trent Robertson is stuck loyal with these 1 through 17 for this week. For us, we've had to make some changes because Lehigh Hopewade is out for 4 to 5 weeks, which sucks for young Hopper. He's been killing it so far for us this year. So that means on the wing, it's Tommy Talau who shifts from the centres to the wing. Ben Trbojevic goes into the centres and play absolutely fantastic against the Titans there. Defensively, he's a weapon and very skillful there too. So I'm keen to see how Burbo goes in the centres. The back row is Corey Waddell and Carl Lawton. So good to see Ward's back. Don't know why he's getting talked down a lot for his return, but he's been pretty good for us so far this year. So I'm happy to see him be back in the team. But other than that, that's 1 through 17 for us. Okay, the big tip for this one. So it's 1-12. I think this game will be. I think it will be 1-12. But look, obviously I'm not going to go to Allianz without tipping my boys. Like I'm always going to back Manly no matter what. If we win, we're in the top four. So that's why it's so important this game for us. But yeah, I'll tip Manly to win 1-12. I do believe we can go to Allianz and win. Can't see why not. Manly to win. I think we'll win 22 points to 18. First try scorer. Let's go with. I think Roosters might score first through Angus Crichton, and anytime try scorers for both sides. I think Daniel Tupou's 1 for the Roosters, and for Manly, I'll go with Jason Saab. He's been on a try scoring streak lately, so come on, Manly. Okay, on to the very first game on the Sunday out of 3. It's the Dragons versus the Panthers at Wynn Stadium there in Wollongong. And yeah, this one shapes up to be quite an interesting game, I reckon, because I think both sides are. Well, obviously Panthers are higher on the ladder and they're definitely in a better position compared to the Dragons, but the Dragons do play well at Wollongong, so we'll see how they do go this Sunday. The week before, Dragons beat the Broncos 30-26 at Suncorp, so that was quite an impressive win. And last week they had the bye, so obviously Dragons are sort of sitting right in that 8th to 9th spot. If they win, they're in the 8th. If they lose, well, they're just outside of it, but we'll see what happens. And for the Panthers, well, mate, Nathan Cleary has ice in his veins as he did on the try celebration. I love that. Great game by him, and good to see him back. It's good for the game as well. But yeah, Panthers did a good job against the Dolphins. They weren't fantastic, but they definitely did well without their origin stars. So it was a good effort to still win in Golden Point like that. So for the Panthers and their changes, well, it looks like all their origin stars are back, so they're pretty much nearly full strength, pretty much. So yeah, they're very scary once they're like that, I guess you can say. For the Dragons, not a whole lot, but Zach Lomax is back, Ben Hunt's back. Yeah, and James Sewell's also named there too, but I believe he played the week before anyway. So yeah, that means Jesse Marshall goes to reserves because Ben Hunt's back, and yeah, it's mainly the same Dragons team as the week before. My tip for this game though, I'll go over the Panthers to win. I think Penrith will be a bit too good. Penrith 13 plus, but not like a big 13 plus, but it will be 13 plus. First try scorer, I'll go with Sunia Taruva, and anytime try scorers for both sides. For the Dragons, I'll go with Tyrell Sloan at fullback, and for the Panthers, I'll go with a bit of a bold one. I'll go with Jerome Luai anytime. Okay, on to the next game now, and this is the main game on the Sunday. It's the Dolphins versus the Titans at Suncorp Stadium there at 4 p.m. So, yeah, the Dolphins were very unlucky. I feel for the Dolphins in some way, but Panthers did fantastic to still win. But, yeah, the Dolphins obviously, if they won that game, they would have been right in the top four, I think. But now that they've lost that one, it definitely puts them just outside the top four and probably does have them fighting for a spot in the eight. But if they win this week, they definitely keep themselves safe in the eight. But yeah, unlucky to lose against Penrith. For the Titans, well, they play my boys Manly. And yeah, they started really well against us. Like I was worried for a second there when they started off the game 8-0, but eventually Manly ran them down and Titans had no answers in the end. So we'll see what kind of Gold Coast does respond this Sunday. The Dolphins, I don't believe have any changes. I think Hammer's back in. He's back from Origin. I think he backed up last week too. But yeah, no real changes there for the Dolphins. And for the Titans, no changes after their loss to Manly. So yeah, they won for 17. My tip for this game though, I think Dolphins win well. I think Dolphins win 13 plus. Yeah, Dolphins 13 plus. First try scorer, give me Jake Avrillo. And anytime try scorers, I'll go with Connelly Lemuelu in the back row. And for the Titans, I'll go with Alafania Camperera. Lastly, it's Jack Wyden's return to Canberra. So this is the Jack Wyden Cup, if you want to call it that. The Jack Wyden Cup between both the Raiders and the Rabbitohs. Obviously, last week Canberra were gutsy in their win against the Warriors. Very lucky, I guess you could say, because the difference was kicking in the end. But yeah, Raiders will obviously got a very important win there, and that win helps them in their chances of making the eight still. For the Rabbitohs, they were obviously a bit too good for the Tigers at Gosford Central Coast Stadium, winning 42-24, I think the score was. It was a high-scoring game. But yeah, Seahawks obviously got the job done last week there, so both teams are coming off wins. For the Raiders and their changes to their team, not many. I think they're 1 through 17. For the Rabbitohs, just the one change for them. Michael Cheekham goes to the centres, Jacob Host to the back row, with Richie Kenner out with a head knock, HIA. My tip for this game, I think this will be quite close, and I reckon you can go down to the wire. Yeah, tough one to tip, I reckon. But you know what? I am going to tip Rabbitohs. I think Rabbitohs will get the job done. I think Souths will, win the game. Canberra should be up for this one, but I think Jack Wyden will definitely take this one personally, I reckon. And Jack Wyden will have a big game against his former club. So I'll go Souths to win 1-12. First try scorer, let's go Jacob Gagai, and anytime try scorers for both sides, I'll go Matt Timoko, who's due this week. And for the Rabbitohs, I'll go Jai Gray at fullback. But that right there is my round 21 tips. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, as well as commenting your tips for this weekend in the comments down below. But yeah, have a good weekend, everyone. Enjoy your weekend of footy, and bring on round 21.